What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know, including Asuka is teasing a darker gimmick, Becky Lynch had heat backstage, AEW is now selling tickets for their upcoming event, is Dominik in danger, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now, just before we get into that, I want to thank Surfshark VPN for sponsoring this video. Now, getting hacked is probably the worst thing ever. Hackers can retrieve personal information such as your finances, steal your identity, or worse yet, upload dank wrestling memes to your page. So, how do you prevent this? Well, Surfshark VPN can protect you and your online information securely, as without a VPN you could be exposed to hacking, malware and phishing, identity theft, ad manipulation, ISP tracking and price discrimination. Yeah, speaking of price discrimination, remember that time you were trying to get tickets for a wrestling show and the price just suddenly bumped up because of multiple searches? Well, that won't happen with a VPN, as you can grab tickets without any bump. Well, that is when WWE eventually allows fans at ringside. But one of my favorite features of Surfshark VPN is that you can see content not available in your area. As how many times have you tried to watch clips of your favorite WWE moments on Twitter and YouTube and you're greeted with this message? What if all of a sudden the WWE network is down in your country? Well, simply log into Surfshark and you can get access to videos that aren't normally available to you, or you could access it in a different country. So if you want both protection and freedom online, click the link in the description and use code Wrestlelamia, which not only gives you a whopping 85% off the regular price, but also 3 months of service totally free. Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk in trying it out for yourself. Be sure to click the link in the description down below. Our first story looks at Renee Young probably not going to AEW. Now that Renee Young has announced she's leaving the WWE, fans are asking whether she's headed to AEW or somewhere else. The latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter provided details on Young's contractual obligations and where she could be headed to next. Good had 2 deals, an employee deal with WWE that allowed her to give notice when she wanted, and a second contract with Fox for WWE Backstage, which was cancelled when the show was cancelled. With the latter contract being cancelled, she was able to leave without any obligations. She will be finishing up with the company this coming week as she agreed to work through SummerSlam weekend. Young enjoyed a slow but steady rise in her WWE career, going from backstage interviewer to an eventual run as a full-time announcer and analyst. Her presence on FS1's WWE Backstage reportedly reflected Fox being impressed with her work, and according to Meltzer, that isn't the only network interested in Young. We had known years ago that ESPN had interest in her, and some in the WWE had thought at the time she might leave the company for ESPN, but that didn't happen. Fox is also high on her, and she may do things for them here and there. From an AEW standpoint, even though Jonathan Good, aka Jon Moxley, her husband, is AEW champion, we were told AEW was unaware she was leaving WWE until after the news broke. This is not to say that is or isn't an option and what her legal limitations and timeframes would be. According to Meltzer, Young has a serious no-compete clause, so don't count on her seeing her in AEW in the near future. As we reported a while back, Renee is currently working on a cookbook. Would you guys like to see her in AEW eventually? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, that time Sammy Guevara walked into Vince's office and his big boast. Now, Sammy Guevara isn't afraid to make a name for himself, something fans learned after Guevara discussed the time he barged into Vince McMahon's office in order to make an impression. Guevara was on the AEW Unrestricted podcast when he talked of receiving several opportunities in dark matches, but also knowing he needed to do something to make an impression. Showing some serious guts, or possibly stupidity when it comes to Vince, Guevara knocked on Vinnie Mac's office only to find the Road Dogg working. The Road Dogg praised Guevara and told him to come back when Vince was in. He did, and here's what he recalls happened. I knocked on the door. This time Triple H answers the door. He opened the door a little bit to show Vince and I squeezed myself through the door. I went up to Vince and shook his hand. I did my spiel to both of them. I told them I want to let you know I'm gonna make this business a lot of money. Vince chuckled and asked me my name and said it was nice to meet me. Nothing came from it. I ended up getting a tryout later that year. I don't know if that was the reason or not. I got the tryout and it didn't work out. When I was at the Triad, I saw a bunch of things where I realized that this is not where I want to be right now, or maybe ever. I saw the way things were done. I realized if you're not a model or a pro football player, it's like screw you. So I'm like, nah, I don't want to be here right now. At 27, Sammy Guevara has hit the big time working in AEW's top heel faction, the Inner Circle, and now embroiled in a high-profile feud with Matt Hardy, and it seems as if he's made the right choice going to All Elite Wrestling. But what do you guys think? Will Guevara have made it big in WWE? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Asuka teases a darker gimmick. Asuka is a type of wrestler who seems equally adept at playing a babyface or heel, and while she's currently a babyface, could fans see the Empress of Tomorrow adopt a darker persona? Sportskeeda recently reported, recently Asuka teased a new look that her face painted like an evil clown. That was well aligned with the recent aggression in her character that has reached a whole new level ever since Bayley brutalized Kairi Sane on Raw and ended her WWE career. Asuka noted she is ready to show off a darker side when needed, telling Sportskeeda, if the time comes, I can show it. Now Asuka used to portray a much darker character when wrestling in Japan. To be honest, her face paint looks absolutely terrifying, and a heel version of Asuka in this manner would be incredible. But would you guys prefer Asuka as a heel or a babyface? Next up, Becky Lynch had heat backstage. Now Becky Lynch has transcended barriers, finding fame as one of the WWE's most successful and recognizable superstars, male or female. As such, she decided to nickname herself The Man, showing the world a woman has no boundaries in terms of succeeding. Nevertheless, some female superstars backstage were reportedly opposed to her new nickname. Speaking to Digital Spy, Stephanie McMahon revealed, The Man really was her idea. It's funny because some women were very against it, like, why do you have to call yourself the man? Why can't you be the woman? But she just didn't take to it, too literally. The whole point was to turn that nomenclature on its ear, right? Because everyone says, oh, the biggest, the most successful person in the room is the man. Well, why can't the man be a woman? Lynch's success is undeniable, and if she returns to the ring after giving birth, she's likely going to reach even greater heights in the company. Right now she's teased that she's working on a book, as she took a picture of her computer screen with a title that read Toast and Me, a study in 7 volumes by Rebecca Quinn. She also captioned the post with, I miss you all. Do you guys miss Becky Lynch? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, welcome to Thunderdome and welcome back Vince McMahon. Now the Thunderdome debuts on tonight's edition of Smackdown, and last night they had a test running where a number of fans managed to get into a screening and the setup was shown on social media. Obviously, various people had a lot of fun with the post, as the crowd looked more distracting than what was going on in the ring. In fact, some compared it to the game Guess Who. Kinda did look like that, to be fair. Well, apart from WWE debuting this new look, Vince McMahon will also be opening the show. This is the first time we've seen Vince McMahon on television since Triple H's 25th anniversary episode. It's always great to see Vinnie Mac back on television, but it's been reported that the WWE is working hard to make its relaunch a major success. WrestleVotes recently tweeted, heard that throughout the weekend, WWE has things planned that are differently but pretty cool. They are treating this Thunderdome as a restart of sorts. Expect a return or two, along with some new storyline ideas. Now it's interesting that they could mention a return, as who could possibly return? This could mark the return of Roman Reigns, even though it's highly doubtful, and whilst this is purely speculation, we believe that it could be the return of Brock Lesnar, as while Reigns has said he's sitting it out during the pandemic, WWE have mentioned that they won't be using Brock Lesnar until they can get back to a live audience. Now this is somewhat a live audience, so why not bring back Lesnar back for a huge episode of Smackdown during the relaunch? Are you guys curious to see what it's going to be like tonight? Let us know in the comments down below if you'll be watching Smackdown live. Next up, could main roster stars be drafted to NXT? Now some interesting possibilities concerning the upcoming WWE draft, and one of the highlights of the draft is seeing NXT stars getting the call up to the main roster, but fans could see something entirely different this time as Raw and Smackdown wrestlers moving to NXT. During Triple H's recent conference call to promote NXT TakeOver, the game hinted at superstars moving from any brand to another, praising the potential for such moves. He mentioned, now wrestlers have the opportunity to wrap up their runs on Raw or SmackDown and move to a completely different brand with a different style in NXT. Maybe refresh, get a fresh coat of paint, or try something different. You can start over with a different character, and moving to NXT definitely gives them the ability to do that. Which guys would you like to see make the move to NXT? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, AEW is selling tickets for their upcoming event. Now, if you're tired of not being able to attend live AEW wrestling events, well, AEW has wasted no time in announcing that it'll be selling tickets for its 27th August show, with tickets going on sale tonight. AEW will require the use of face masks and will have staff conduct temperature checks. In addition, there will be hand sanitizing stations and industrial fans present to improve air circulation. Next up, Rey Mysterio's WWE contract. It looks like Mysterio's in the WWE to stay. Following months where he worked without a contract, Mysterio re-upped with the WWE, and according to Meltzer, the Rey Mysterio deal is believed to be for 3 years. That's a pretty long time in WWE. But we guess Rey is doing it all for the sake of his son. But whilst we're on the subject of Dominik, is he in danger? While Rey has signed a new deal with the WWE, it may have included an incentive besides money. According to Tom Colohue, Rey lobbied Vinnie Mac hard to push Dominik as a single star in exchange for him staying in the WWE. Colohue reported Vince agreed, but he's concerned about Dominik's health and being pushed too soon. Colohue mentioned, "I really can't see this as anything but a message from Vince McMahon to Rey Mysterio. Something like, if your son gets hurt, that's on you for pushing us to get him involved too early, because the WWE did not want Dominik debuting in a solo match at this point." But that's what Rey wanted, and Rey wanted to make sure that they did what he wanted before he would look at signing a new contract. Now, while his physical health may not be a problem, his career could quickly crash into a wall if the WWE Universe feels he's getting pushed down their throats. But there you have it, guys, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.